to today's session of Give to Get. I'm Emmalou Penrod, and today we're going to be talking about how to interact with the different various personality types. Last week, we talked about 4 basic personality types. There are a number of assessments. Study of research of personality has started back with Plato and Hippocrates, and psychologists have come up with a variety of theories, but they always come down to 4 basic types. And we talked about those last time. I'm just going to quickly review. We talked about, we used the Peanuts characters from Charlie Brown and the Peanuts. If you grew up in the United States, you may be very familiar with them. And Lucy represents the type of person who is very direct. They want to be in charge. They like to organize things and people. They like to get things done. They want to get to the bottom line. They want to, if the rewards on a project are great enough, they will take the risk. They're motivated by money. And they're attracted to jobs. You'll quite often find them in jobs that allow them to be in charge, like the president or CEO of a company, a general contractor, a salesperson, or a sales manager, a business owner, an entrepreneur, a police or military officer, a manager, an executive, somewhere that they can be in charge and they can make sure that things get done. And last week, we also, as we went through the 4 basic types, we asked you to identify which type you connected with the most. And we also talked about that human personality is far more complex than accepting distinct categories. Most people are a blend. You may have one predominant type, but you also have characteristics from some of the others. So, and the people you interact with, the same is true for them. So just briefly recapping the different types, there's Lucy, then there's Snoopy. And Snoopy is charming, charismatic, people love him. He knows how to have fun. And he's going to say things like, that's amazing, that's so cool. He's enthusiastic. He's a real people person. And he'll be attracted to jobs like public relations. He's entertainer, personnel interviewer, professional host, recreation director, party planner, and customer service, because he's all about people. Then there's Linus. Linus is the scientist, the analyzer. He wants the details. He wants to crunch the numbers and really get into it. And someone with this kind of a personality is really drawn to any job that allows them to be a troubleshooter, a problem solver, an engineer, technical support, research scientists. They're actually more comfortable with data than with people. A game designer, data analyst, a programmer, an actuary, an accountant, and inventors that really want to get into the details, the nuts and bolts, how do things work. And then there's Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown likes stability, security. He's not real keen on taking risk. People like this are attracted more to games that are very secure. He can count on it. This is like your teachers, your social workers, your family doctor or family nurse. a mechanic, a counselor, personal assistant, a minister, an insurance agent. He's about serving others, a librarian. He's more about helping people. He's a supporter. So last week, if you missed last week, hopefully you've been able to catch the recording and have a clear understanding of what your type is. But now what happens is in a family or in business, you will be interacting with other people. And it is so helpful to be able to identify what type or blend of personalities are you dealing with. If it's a family member or a close friend, you have the advantage of years of experience. So you have a much better understanding of what their values are, what's important to them, what their most common reactions are. But sometimes you have the 15 minutes it took to schedule the appointment. Maybe you were new on the job and you may need to be able to decide fairly quickly what personality type you're dealing with. In those cases, you can look at things like their chosen profession. People tend to gravitate. I just went through some of the jobs the various types are drawn to. Pre-COVID, you could go by the greeting. The Lucys of the world like that firm handshake. The Snoopies might go for a high five or a knuckle bump. The Linuses may just give you a curt nod. And the Charlie Browns, if you just hold out your arms, they will step forward and hug you. You want to find the Charlie Browns in any group, just make a comment like, I really need a hug. They can't help themselves. They will hug you. And now that we are practicing safe distances, we stand 10 feet apart and just look at each other. And sometimes we meet on Zoom. So we can't always use that clue, but we can use how they dress, what they're wearing. The Lucys most often go for business attire, that snazzy vest that Mara was wearing. They like to look sharp. And for them, dressing down means business casual. The Snoopies want to be trendy. They may have a real trendy haircut. Maybe they're wearing something that's the latest fashion. They care about their appearance too, but they're more interested in looking cool, looking impressive. They love attention.
On a scale of 1 to 5, would you give yourself a 5 on achieving what you want in life? If your answer is anything less than a 5, right now, I have something awesome for you. Achieving your goals and living your life at a 5 isn't easy. Most people aren't prepared to focus, stay disciplined, and do the everyday work that is necessary to achieve amazing results. But since you're watching this, then I'm guessing that you're not one of those people. And this is an opportunity that will change your life. Give to Get is a global program that brings together world-class coaching and combines it with empowering masterminds and networking opportunities. We provide 5-star guidance for the price of a cup of coffee a day. To find out more, click on the link in the description of this coaching session.
The Linuses, their appearance is probably the least of their concerns. That's probably what they spend the smallest amount of time thinking about. And quite often they may have kind of the nerdy look. And the Charlie Browns dress for comfort. So sometimes you can tell by the way they're dressed, with exceptions, of course. And sometimes it's their posture. Are they sitting upright? Are they kind of slumped back, a little more relaxed? Are they leaning forward? Sometimes you can tell by their body language. Are they that hard driving, want to get it done. Let's get this scheduled. What's the agenda? The Lucy type. Are they talking more about how can we schedule this meeting so it's going to be fun and exciting? More like the Snoopy type. The Linus type will have a schedule, and they want to stick to it. They want to know exactly what to expect. How long is this meeting going to last? Will you have all of the information at that meeting? And the Charlie Browns are more supportive. They're very approachable. I taught high school for 15 years, and part of the teaching methods I used is, small group work. You organize students into groups of 4. They turn their desks, face each other. The idea being that they're going to work together on a project. And sometimes I would let the students just pick their own groups. And sometimes I would intentionally assign them to groups, keeping in mind these different personality types. It was always fun as I put the directions and the materials for the project. I would lay it down in the middle of the desk and just step back for a minute and watch who grabs it. Now, looking at the 4 personality types we've talked about, who would you guess would be most likely to grab the papers and the materials? Does anybody want to unmute and take a guess? Okay.
Hey there, I've just unmuted myself. Yeah, I would say definitely Lucy.
Exactly. The Lucys will grab it and they will get everyone organized. The Snoopies will be coming up with very clever ways to get out of having to do any work, unless it's the presenting. If one member of the group needs to stand in front of the whole class and present their research and studies, Snoopy's down for that. He loves attention. He loves being center stage. Linus will do all of the research, and Charlie Brown will fill in however he's needed. And it was just interesting to watch, fascinating for me to watch those interactions. To me, they were learning far more than whatever the academic curriculum of the assignment was. It was these all-important interactions, which I knew they would need on the job. But they're learning how to get along, how to communicate. And invariably, I knew that the Lucys and maybe the Linuses would be coming and complaining that the Snoopies weren't doing any work and they were getting stuck with all of it. But there was a lot of learning. I loved it. Now, I need to make one clarification about these personality types. Think of it as a circle. So again, there is so much variety, but they can score anywhere from the outside of that circle to closer to the center. So for example, a Lucy who scores out here is very predominantly the authoritative, the let's get things done, the boss. They have that personality almost exclusively. It's just all about the bottom line. And if they're closer to the center, they are much more likely to have traits from some of the others. Now, going back to those groups of 4 students, I could have picked a group where there were actually 2 Lucys, but one was out here and the other one was here. Then you would have this Lucy would take the paperwork, give everyone their assignments, get things going, set the schedule. This Lucy would be like second in charge. Another interesting thing about the Charlie Browns, they want to be supportive. They will tend to fill in where needed. If I had a group where there was no Lucy in this group, I would find that a Charlie Brown would step up to get things going. Again, feeling that need to step in, or any of these also might step up, but especially the Charlie Browns. So as you interact with people, keep in mind, they may have some Lucy traits, Lucy-like traits, but maybe they're here, not here. You won't see as strong an evidence of them. Notice also, we think about the easiest people for us to relate to are someone who is in our same group. But again, think of the committee where you have two strong Lucys. Notice in any organization, there's only one CEO. So if you're a strong Lucy and you're about to interact with another strong Lucy, you may need to adapt. You may need to tone down your personality. And I cannot emphasize enough the value of listening and observing. Quite often when we go into these business meetings or in a family, we're interacting with our children. We want to get them organized to get the house clean so we can go on vacation next week. We go in with an agenda. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to accomplish. And we're focusing on what we're saying. Sometimes we get caught up in how amazing we are and what an excellent job we're doing in presenting this material. And we fail to listen and observe. No matter who you are interacting with, make sure you are listening to what they're saying, observing their reactions. No matter how brilliant your presentation is, if you've lost them, you're wasting your time. So make sure listening and observing. And whether it's with someone with your same personality style or different, notice too that if two of them are side by side, they can relate. Notice when I went through the list of jobs they're attracted to, Lucy and Linus are both attracted to jobs where they're in charge from this. Linus wants to be a pilot. Lucy will choose police or military officer. Linus, it's more from the aspect of the technical side. And Lucy, it's more being in charge. But they still like things to be orderly. They like schedules. They want structure. So they can connect on that level. The Lucys and the Snoopies both want to influence people. So they have that in common. They're both drawn to sales being a salesperson or a sales manager. They both value that. So they have that in common. Snoopies and Charlie Brown both care about people. They both care about relating, making sure people are happy, getting what they want. And the Charlie Browns and the Linuses will share some characteristics too. They both can be more on the quiet side, more reserved. Where you will find your greatest challenge is interacting with someone who is opposite of you. For example, I had a very good friend tell me this experience she had with her adult son. She's a Snoopy, he's a Linus. And she wanted to get together, hang out with her son. She wants to spend time with him. She would try calling him and saying, hey, let's get together sometime next week. Maybe we can go to lunch. Wouldn't that be fun to spend some time together? Well, this completely was offsetting to him because he has a schedule. He has things he's trying to accomplish. He has a plan. And it never worked that way. Finally, in learning to understand his personality on a deeper level, she learned that the best approach for success would be to schedule time. Can you meet for lunch a week from this Tuesday at 11 o'clock at Applebee's? Now her son knew exactly what to expect. He had time to get it in his calendar. He knew where they were meeting, what time. She also learned to pull into the parking lot 10 minutes early because that's when he would be arriving. And she attributed this to saving their relationship. She had this adult son who just wasn't spending time with her. She learned to interact with him, matching his style, and now they have a great relationship. So, and families are my passion. I'm a family coach, and I love going over this in our coaching program. Let's understand each other's personalities. Let's connect and show love by interacting. Now, in a business setting, this is a prospect. If you focus on the other person, remember listening and observing, and the outcome that you want, this is someone you want to develop enough rapport, enough trust that they will do business with you. So you are paying attention to what they do. Obviously, if you've made an appointment with a Lucy or a Linus, you're going to make sure you're there on time. With the Linus, you're going to make sure you have all the data they could possibly want to review. Make sure with the Lucy, you're getting down to the main points, just sound bites. Some people say Lucy's talking bullet points. Just get down to brass tacks. They do not appreciate small talk or chit chat. On the other hand, if you're meeting with a Charlie Brown, they will really be impressed if you're asking them about themselves, learning about their families, asking about their families, and spending time letting them feel appreciated and valued. And if you're meeting with a Snoopy, you need to make it fun and exciting. And whatever if it's a recruiting meeting, you're going to want to focus on the parts of working with your company that will meet their needs. The Snoopy's need for fun, Charlie Brown's need for security, letting Linus know all the data he's going to have access to, research to his heart's content, and letting Lucy know return on investment, what she's going to be able to be in charge of. And if it's doing business with you, being very much aware of, listening, observing, keeping in mind what your desired outcome is, and helping them see the benefits will go a long way towards, now again, whether it's strengthening a relationship in your family, building a business, gaining a client, understanding the other person's personality, being able to recognize it very quickly, and being able to adapt your personality to accommodate theirs. The Charlie Brown may need to learn to be much more direct, getting to the point much more quickly when they're working with the Lucy. The Lucy may learn to need to tone it down when they're working with the Charlie Brown and be much more. Lucy's tend to be insensitive. Charlie Browns tend to be very sensitive, easily hurt and offended. So being more patient, and patience is something that's very hard for a Lucy. But working on that, and you can do it if you're focusing on your desired outcome. Now, I'm going to stop the share and really invite, we have some people on. Does anyone have an example of how, or a question they want to ask, a specific relationship you're wondering, how can you make it better? Or maybe an example of when you were able to problem solve and improve, get that sale or improve a relationship by understanding someone else's personality.
Martina, I'll just provide some feedback. I'm just thinking about, not sure how I've maybe landed a client by identifying. I was thinking, as you were describing the 4 different personality types, in my head, I was starting to immediately some of my clients' personality types popped up. I'm not going to say that I recognized those early on, but I recognize them now that I've worked with them for several years. And it's interesting, as soon as you said Snoopy, two of my clients immediately popped up as the epitome of all the characteristics that you were saying, even in terms of the jobs they're in. When you said PR for a Snoopy, charismatic, fun lover, and a people person, and that so fits one of my clients for sure, and then another one fits that as well. And then I also know some people who are Lucy's, and I was saying straight away, I'm definitely a Lucy. I'm glad I'm leaning perhaps a little bit to a Linus as well, but it's definitely around the, needing to have a timeline and a plan and following the plan and so on. That's definitely me. I like that you're saying that it's, if you have these in mind, and I love that you've based them around Snoopy characters, because now I can sort of just picture them in my mind to try and categorize someone when I'm meeting them, to see if I can identify quickly which personality type they fit, to know whether or not I need to tone down my inner Lucy, or, to not overwhelm someone who's perhaps a Charlie Brown and is a bit quiet. Or if I'm being too linear in my needs, but I'm dealing with a Snoopy, who's a bit more, laissez-faire, to let go of some of rigidity and to also accommodate their personality type, so that we don't end up clashing and just not fitting together well. So it's I like that. It's very easy to keep in mind something that's a bit more playful, like this comparison, rather than saying whatever, like the Myers-Briggs personality. I can't ever remember the acronyms that they have and the letters and what the letters stand for with the Myers-Briggs personality, but this I can really picture. So now I think going forward, I'll kind of picture which little character someone is. It's easier to remember. So thanks for that.
Well, Myers-Briggs had 16 personality types. It is rather complicated.
Yeah.
But this is fairly simple. I have children from all 4 of these groups. They're all adults now. And I look at my relationships with them are very, very different. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of fun with my Snoopy. And, I learn a lot about, I have 2 Linuses, and they're, a data scientist and a software engineer. So I'm learning tons about computers.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it does help to, rather than expecting, why can't they do what I do? How come they're not acting like I do?
Right. Yeah, I think now that you're saying that, I I know, not just I think, I know that that is one of my biggest challenges, is that quite often it's the expectation that others will think and act and do as you do.
Mhm.
And then you sort of think, why aren't people on time? We said 3:00. Why am I the only one here? That's me. I arrive always 5 minutes early. Where is everybody? Why is everybody late? We're already behind now. So let's get straight to the point, So it's recognizing that people don't think and act your way. And even in personal relationships, I feel that I sometimes have to, not sometimes, often have to rein myself in a little bit, because I'm putting my expectations and my habits onto them, but they're completely different personality, and that just doesn't work for them. That's not how they function. And then, and attempting to not get upset or disappointed about people having different habits and different personality styles, and recognizing that and going kind of with the flow and benefiting from differences rather than expecting everybody to be like you, which actually would be really boring, and probably I wouldn't always get along with a room full of Lucys. Like, who would be in charge if everyone wants to be in charge?
Yeah, that's true. And understanding too that we're rarely just one. I think only in those cases where they're on the outside of the circle and that's just them, everything about them. Most of us are closer to the center. So maybe your coworker is usually a Charlie Brown, but today he's feeling like a Linus, and it's okay. Just that. Yeah. Listening and observing. We can learn a lot by watching people's faces, their body language.
Yeah, and I think as well, just like looking at the diagram and the personality traits. I'm a virtual business manager, so virtual assistant. So what my clients come to me for is to help them with those personality types and styles that they're not good at. So if I'm working with I don't know, maybe a Snoopy, and two of my clients are Snoopies, and that's probably exactly why they hired me. They're a Snoopy, they're like, la-di-da-di-da, it's all about fun, but they procrastinate, and they get distracted, and the shiny new object, and they don't finish stuff, and they see something new that's more exciting. And then I have the organizer, the in charge, the keeping them accountable and organized and on time and all of that. That is why they hire me. So recognizing someone being in a different personality type is then a strength for me in my sales conversation, or even as I go on with a client, to sort of highlight that this is why we work well together. And other personality types, I've done Colby assessments as well, and those help too to identify who would complement you in the areas where you're weaker, and you will hire someone who is stronger on a certain Colby aspect, so that they can, so that together you will get to 100% on certain tasks. So that would be useful to even somehow build that into your discovery call with a new prospect, to find out what personality, or even ask them maybe outright what personality type they think they are. Do you think that would be a good idea, to literally ask them that?
If you have that rapport, I don't know why not. I think people like to talk about themselves. They love to give information.
Yeah, I'm inspired by that now, to make that and make it more fun, rather than just saying, let's do a Colby assessment and see if if we complement each other. This is a little bit more fun too.
Yes.
You'd say, let's do a peanuts assessment. And I think what you'd have to do is give them the four characters, right, and you have to give them a little bit and say, now, which one do you relate most to? But one of the things I noticed too, though, is I follow a lot of that, and I'm really good when it comes to people who are not my family. You put the loved ones, and you put like anyone that falls into your loved ones category, I just can't do it. My role is completely changed, and I'm impatient. I'm forceful in my decisions. I'm totally opposite from when I'm in my business character and I'm talking to a customer, a supplier, an employee, or, then it's completely different. A friend, very different. Comes to family, these characters, I don't know how to balance it.
So Mauro, are you more of a Lucy or more of a Snoopy?
Well, I think I fall right like in the middle of them.
You're both.
It's a tough call. I kept the whole time thinking like, oh well, yeah, I'm a Snoopy. Wait, no, I'm a Lucy. No. I think I really do play the play the game on both sides.
and I noticed Stephanie commented that she's a Snoopy.
Yeah.
I am a Snoopy, but sometimes that affects me because I do get distracted very easily, and in business I'm just like, oh my god, like I need to hire a more task-oriented person in order to get stuff done, or have like a coach or someone that pushes me, because if not, I am such a distracted person.
Yeah, I noticed with those groups in my high school classes, if you could get one from each and they could get along, you had some really powerful, effective teams because they all, filled in each other's deficits, and it was great. And I think businesses, like you said, find that team where you've got the research, the sales, the ideas, and then the caring atmosphere.
Yeah,
it's huge.
And learning how to balance it out is so important, because I took a similar test to this one, and I'm a high Snoopy. And then I didn't see I forgot the other one, the one that's in the left top corner. Is that Lucy?
Lucy.
And then the other one, which is
the scientist, the
one. Yeah, I think the line is at the right bottom. I'm like, my percentage was kind of like even to those. So it was kind of hard because I internally contradict myself sometimes. Like I am in a battle inside because I'm like, all right, I'm a D. I'm a Lucy. So I am like what was it again? Task oriented?
The task oriented is Charlie Brown.
The top right. What was the top right?
Top right is Snoopy, relationship oriented.
And top left?
Was Lucy, goal oriented.
Okay, yeah, I'm goal oriented. So I set goals. I'm like, all right, we got to get this and this done. But then the other one, which was the bottom right?
Bottom right is Charlie Brown, task oriented.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown is also the supporter, wants to make sure everybody's happy. That's why I like the Charlie Browns and the Lucys. Well, the Lucy will come in and saying, okay, we've got to cut costs. We're going to have to let some people go. And the Charlie Brown will be, no.
Yeah, and that's where I'm conflicted with myself, because I'm like, we got to get this done, but I don't want to hurt this person,
Yeah, and the Snoopy will say, okay, let's just party. And the Linus will say, no.
Yeah.
Linus is the one that usually doesn't get invited to the party because they just don't know how to have fun. They're just, and they usually wouldn't be comfortable being there anyway. They'd really rather be home reading a book.
Nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
Well, no? I think I love that. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Would it be possible to get sort of one diagram? I took some screenshots, but would it be possible? Do you have, Emmalou, a diagram that shows the characters, even with the pictures, and then also shows the diagram?
Okay, so
it's kind of one picture that if they did have a conversation with someone to say, yeah, if you sort of added
this one, or the one before?
I guess this one is sufficient. Yeah, I could, copy in the characters so you can relate to them as well in terms of their looks.
Okay.
That's a really,
and
yeah,
that one.
That one, exactly.
That one, yeah.
And
this has their picture, and then the next one just had a little bit more about them.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you want to see the other one too?
The other one was the slide. I took screenshots of both of those, so I think I'll maybe, I don't know, somehow blend the two and then add in, the some of the traits that you were saying in terms of being direct, firm handshake. How would they dress? What motivates them, and how would they greet you? I love those. Those are really good sort of quick tips to put into one chart, and I'll see if I'll use it on maybe.
Yeah, and the words
people.
they use, are they talking about? Mm-hmm. Bottom line, let's do it.
Yes.
Or is it, that's so cool. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Or let's do the research.
Yes, let's look at the numbers.
Is everyone being included?
Yeah.
But I don't know how many of you know a Charlie Brown I'm serious, even in the pandemic. If someone indicates they want to hug, it's like they can't stop. They just got to hug them.
I know someone who's someone who wants to really support, because when you said someone who wants to serve others and is very approachable, and is quite happy to sort of follow along and let someone else take the lead, and they just want to keep everybody happy. I wrote down a name beside that I can relate to, a friend of mine, not business related, but who really fits that description.
Well, can fill in wherever they're needed.
Yes, exactly. I literally would say, tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah, they're more of a chameleon. You need them to take charge, they will. They'll not be real forceful, but yeah. Or, they won't do it as well because it's not their nature, but they'll certainly do their best.
Mm-hmm.
And last time we talked about the weaknesses of each. The Charlie Brown is the one who is most likely to allow themselves to be taken advantage of.
Right.
They're the ones that they need to learn to be more assertive. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if a Charlie Brown is working with a Lucy, they would really need to rack up that assertiveness. Mm-hmm. They would, practice in front of a mirror, something, but they would definitely need to go into that with a confident, assertive air. And some Lucys would just dismiss them. If they're not confident, don't waste my time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay.
Nice. Thank you.
My pleasure. I enjoy this. People are just fascinating. Okay.
Amazing. All right.
Caesar, did you have any comments?
No, I took everything in and I'm okay with everything. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for the information, Emmalou.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.